most horror games promise tension, what they usually deliver is speed, fast chases, loud stingers, competitive pressure. But Halloween the game appears to be approaching things differently, especially when it comes to single player mode. And according to the developers, that mode is not optional, it is foundational. The team behind Halloween the game has stated clearly that players should experience the single player mode first in order to fully understand Michael Myers' mechanics. That is a deliberate design decision. This tells us something very important. Michael is not just another asymmetrical horror killer with basic chase abilities. His gameplay systems are layered enough that developers believe players need a controlled environment to learn them properly. From official information shared so far, the single player mode is designed to reimagine the night he came home. That phrase is directly tied to the original 1978 Halloween film, meaning this mode is not simply a tutorial. It is intended as an immersive experience rooted in the franchise legacy. The focus is on experiencing Michael Myers in a way that aligns with the tone of the original film, and that tone matters. The original Halloween was built on stalking, atmosphere, and restraint. Michael Myers was not loud or theatrical. He was patient, he watched, he waited. If the developers are encouraging to begin with single player to understand his mechanics, it strongly suggests that those mechanics revolve around presence, positioning, and psychological pressure, not just spreading after survivors. Now, here's where we separate fact from possibility. Factually, we know single player exists and is meant to introduce Michael's gameplay systems. We know it draws from the original film's events. We know developers want players to experience it first. What we do not yet have confirmed details on are specific gameplay systems like AI structure, mission format, or narrative branching. However, based on the direction being communicated, it is possible that the experience could emphasize slower pacing and environmental tension rather than traditional multiplayer chaos. That is speculation, but it would align with both source material and the developer comments. There is also a potential risk here. If single player were reduced to a basic tutorial with limited replay value, it could undermine the promise of a cinematic Michael experience. That is not something confirmed, but it's a possibility that gamers are watching closely. What will ultimately determine success is whether the mode truly captures what makes Michael Myers unique: inevitability. He is not meant to feel like a competitive avatar. He is meant to feel like a force. If the single player mode successfully teaches players how to embody that force through pacing, positioning, and controlled tension, then starting there first makes perfect sense. It becomes less about learning controls and more about learning presence. For longtime fans of the franchise, particularly those who grew up with the original films, this approach is promising. It suggests respect for tone over trend. The real question is not whether Halloween the game will have a single player mode. It does. The real question is whether that mode will allow players to truly experience what made Michael Myers terrifying in the first place. If it does, it may set a new standard for how licensed horror games approach single player design. If you found this information helpful, consider subscribing for continued coverage as more official details are revealed. Welcome to Mr. Unleashed World.